Miss Molly here for our first chapter Friday this week, and today I am bringing you Living Ghosts and Mischievous Monsters, Chilling American Indian Stories. So this one is in our Myths, Tales, and Legends section for our older nonfiction, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to read the summary in the back and then we'll get going. All right, so not all things strange are ghosts. Some of the creatures in these pages might only have a message for you, but some are the stuff of nightmares. These 32 short stories, from tales passed down for generations to accounts that could have happened yesterday, are collected from the thriving tradition of ghost stories in American Indian cultures across North America. Prepare for stories of witches and walking dolls, hungry skeletons, La Llorona and Deer Woman, and other supernatural beings ready to chill you to the bone. So this book is written and selected by Dan SaSuWeh Jones of the Ponca Nation. And he went all around the country and started collecting different ghost stories or scary stories from different tribes all throughout the United States. And these are the ones that he collected and put together, and it's really pretty cool to read through and see where they've come from and how things are similar and how they're different. So let's get to it. All right. Living Ghosts and Mischievous Monsters. So inside it's broken up, oops, can you see, by the different sections. So if you want to read just about ghosts or spirits or witches or monsters or anything like that. Okay, so here we go. This is our introduction. Ghost stories were a big part of my life growing up as an American Indian. As a young member of the Ponca Nation of Oklahoma, I spent many evenings listening to our tribal elders tell us chilling tales. When I was older, I traveled across the country to collect stories from other tribes. Until then, I did not realize that ghost stories are held as deeply in other American Indian tribes and nations as they are in mine. Many of these stories take place long ago, some are in the recent past, and many are told as if they've just happened, because sometimes they have. Ghost stories are always close to us because ghosts are a part of our daily world. Not all things strange are ghosts. Stories of the unknown come in many shapes and forms that tell of unexplainable, sometimes horrible things. Some are about demons or evil spirits, others about inanimate objects like glowing orbs, apparitions, or even dolls that take on the breath of life. In this book, I have divided the world of American Indian ghosts into 5 categories: ghosts, spirits, witches, monsters, and the supernatural, to give a clearer and more defined picture of what you may encounter, from an unseen noise to a hideous face to maybe something no one else has ever experienced. But let me start from the beginning. While on summer break from the University of Colorado, instead of taking my usual trip home to Oklahoma, I accepted an invitation to stay with a friend from the Colville Indian Reservation in Washington State. His family owned a ranch with lots of extremely beautiful land that bordered tribal lands. That provided a welcome getaway from the city. They had horses, and there were trails from their land that led to the tribal lands, which were filled with clean rivers, lakes, and beaver ponds. You could spend weeks there and rarely see another person. My friend and I put together a teepee and a month's worth of food and headed into the wilderness. We met people living there and recorded their ghost stories. I spent the next 5 years crisscrossing the nation, living on American Indian lands, meeting some of the most fascinating people and collecting their stories too. I lived without electricity, and after dark, friends would gather for a firelit evening meal, followed by a night of telling stories. I was fascinated by all the master storytellers I met. Their audience might never be over 100 people in their life of storytelling, yet they pass on their stories that will live for centuries within their own cultures. It soon became clear across all the regions I traveled that there was one type of common recurring story, the ghost story. This became my umbrella term for the stories about all things that frighten people the most: ghosts and monsters and witches and other unknown beings that live all around us. Years later, when I began compiling my stories, they seemed to fall into categories, not scientific in any way, just natural. Each is a chapter in this book, and at the beginning of each chapter, I will define these different types for you to explain their importance to American Indian cultures. I hope you'll enjoy what I learned in my travels throughout Indian America. At the top of each story, I included information so you'll know where the tale came from. You'll see my byline next to my own ghost story encounters, both during my travels and at home among my Ponca tribe. I have also included some ancient stories to show the differences between types of stories and cultures throughout time. Other stories I collected from authors today. I am deeply grateful to the storytellers I met in person and to all other authors who contributed to this book. Some tribal cultures are not allowed to share certain ghost stories because the spirits are so real to them that saying the spirit names may endanger the storytellers and their families. I respect that, and I do not include those stories. Of the many stories from Indian America, this collection just scratches the surface, but the stories are real and they have kept many young listeners awake into the night. So that was our introduction. And our first chapter is Ghosts. A ghost is a form of energy. In life, that energy is the form of a person, an animal, or any other being. When that being dies, the energy takes on a new form, as a ghost. Ghosts are mostly associated with an event, usually a tragic moment when a life is lost suddenly. The heart stops beating in this world, but the sound of the beating heart remains, leaving a bit of energy among us. The rest of the energy transfers to the spiritual plane. Generally, ghosts appear around the place of a tragic event and they relive it repeatedly. Usually, this energy is angry because it feels trapped. It's looking for a way out. Many cultures believe that ghosts are not here to harm us, while others consider them dangerous. In my experience, they have little to no physical effect on the living unless someone hurt themselves when reacting to a ghost. Indeed, some ghosts may carry a message that can save lives or warn people of trouble. While less frequent, the ghosts of animals may also relive the tragic event that took their life. In the end, of all possible otherworldly events, ghost encounters are the least dangerous. Sometimes ghosts are confused with spirits, but they are just one kind of spirit, and many other spirits have far more complex agendas, as we'll find out in Chapter 2. So our first story here is My Great Aunt's Last 10 a.m. Visit. That's our first one. As you see, they are also illustrated, but I'm going to leave you there. So if you are interested in checking out this book, especially in time for our October season, definitely come and check it out. We have it in our Myths, Tales, and Legends nonfiction section, which is pretty awesome because these are all stories that are collected from Native Americans. So if you are looking for something cool to read, come on and check it out. If something scary is not your jam and you want something else, come and see us too. We've got tons of other things that you might like as well. All right, my friends, thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.